Today's lesson is Barcelona, ancient and modern in perfect harmony. Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
And I'm Helen.
It's our travel unit for the month of September, and we're going to Europe. Actually, we're going to Spain, and within Spain, we're going to Catalonia, and within Catalonia, we're going to Barcelona, which is a great travel destination, and it's got modern and ancient things all together, living peacefully. They are in harmony.
Yes, when two things are in harmony, they live well together, they blend well together. And you can say that people can live in harmony if they get along with each other. Also, musical notes can be in harmony if they sound good together. Here, ancient and modern things go along well together in Barcelona, so they exist in harmony. In other words, Barcelona, even though it's a pretty old city, also has many modern elements, and these modern elements blend well with the ancient elements.
Indeed, and I've never heard anybody say anything bad about Barcelona, so of course this would be a great choice if you want to travel there. And so that's what we're going to be talking about in today's program. So let's begin our lesson by listening to the first part and introduce you to Barcelona, Spain.
Barcelona, ancient and modern in perfect harmony. With more than 1.6 million residents, busy transportation links, and a wealth of culture, Barcelona, Spain may seem like a typical example of a thriving European city. But it has a number of surprises in store for travelers. One of the biggest is that many locals don't consider Barcelona to be a part of Spain at all. The city is the capital of Catalonia, an autonomous region within Spain, and its history differs from that of other cities outside of Catalonia in unexpected ways.
大家好，我们来介绍标题中的名词 harmony。它的意思是和谐、协调、和睦、融洽。例如 Many people believe that cats and dogs cannot live in harmony. 很多人认为猫和狗不能和谐相处。又或者说 The colors and shapes in the painting give it a wonderful harmony. 这幅画里的颜色和形状赋予它美妙的和谐。再来，我们看到形容词 thriving， 它的意思是繁荣的、兴盛的。例如 The resort is thriving because of the hot summer. 这个度假村因为炎热夏季而繁荣。又或者说 The neighborhood has a thriving art community. 这个社区有个艺文活动发展兴盛的团体。另外补充这个字的动词 thrive, T-H-R-I-V-E, thrive, 意思是蓬勃发展、成长茁壮。例如Business thrives in the city since the government opened a technology zone. 自从政府设立科技园区后，该市的商业活动蓬勃发展。再举一个例子 These plants thrive in a warm environment. 这些植物在温暖的环境中长得很茂盛。再来，我们看到形容词 autonomous. 这个字的意思是自治的、有自治权的、自动的。例如Ukraine has been autonomous since the collapse of the Soviet Union. 乌克兰自苏联瓦解后就转为自治国家。或是 Many companies are working on autonomous vehicles. 许多公司正致力于研发自动车。
So the title of today's lesson is Barcelona, Ancient and Modern in Perfect Harmony. We mentioned before that harmony refers to the blending well of two or more things together. Now, we can use the word harmony also to talk about sounds like music and colors. If somebody dresses well, if they're wearing, let's say, a yellow shirt and blue pants, and these two colors go well together, then you can say that they are in harmony.
They certainly are, and of course we do talk about harmony in music. When two or more notes sound good together, they have harmony, but if they don't sound good together, then we have dissonance. But that, of course, is a musical term which we're not going to deal with too much here. But again, these things are living together in perfect harmony in the city of Barcelona. Now, with more than 1.6 million residents, busy transportation links, and a wealth of culture, Barcelona, Spain may seem like a typical example of a thriving European city, but it has a number of surprises in store for travelers. This is a very long introductory sentence, so we're going to break it down into smaller parts. It says at the beginning, with more than 1.6 million residents. This is often a way we start an essay. We mention some particular statistic about a particular place, and this part of the sentence tells us that there are 1.6 million people living in Barcelona. A resident, of course, is somebody who lives in a particular place. Helen and I are both residents of Taipei, and of course, this tells us that Barcelona is not really a huge city compared to Taipei, but still, that's a lot of people. And it's got those residents living there. It's also got busy transportation links, which means it's kind of a hub of transportation. People traveling maybe down from France will go to Barcelona to change trains in order to continue on to Lisbon or Madrid.
Right, not just trains, but also buses and airports. Airports can also be considered a transportation link. And aside from 1.6 million people living in Barcelona and busy transportation links, it also has a wealth of culture. So a wealth of here refers to many or something that is very rich in a particular quality. So Barcelona is rich in culture. It has a wealth of culture. And even though it may seem like a typical example of a thriving European city, it has a number of surprises in store for travelers. So first of all, it may seem like a typical thriving European city. The word European, of course, refers to something related to Europe. And since Barcelona is located in the European country of Spain, it is considered a European city, just as one could say that Taipei is an Asian city. Now, this European city is thriving. Something that is thriving is doing really well. It's healthy, it's successful, it's happy. You can say that a person is thriving when they are successful and happy in their careers and their personal lives. But a city can also be thriving if it's making a lot of money and the people there are happy and healthy and living their best lives.
Exactly. So it's kind of an active city and it's progressive. And as you said, people are doing quite well there. They're making money. They're pursuing their careers. It may seem like that, but still it has a lot of surprises in store for travelers. Now, if something's in store, it's there waiting for you to check out, and it's kind of implying that we don't really know what those surprises may be, and so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Some of the delightful little surprises you're going to find in Barcelona, other than the fact that it is a thriving city with universities and businesses and things like that. And one of the biggest of those surprises is that many locals don't consider Barcelona to be a part of Spain at all. You may have heard of this before. They kind of want to be their own country. They're not really talking about that so much now, but still they've got their own dialect, their own language there, and they don't really consider themselves Spanish so much.
Yes, the city is the capital of Catalonia, an autonomous region within Spain, and its history differs from that of other cities outside of Catalonia in unexpected ways. So we know that Barcelona is a part of Catalonia. In fact, it is the capital of this region, and this region is also autonomous. So autonomous, when it's applied to a region, it means that the region, it has the power to govern itself. You can also talk about an autonomous state or an autonomous city. And in those cases, the city or the state has the power to govern itself.
I think I've heard the word autonomous used to describe regions of China. They talk about different areas that are autonomous. They're self-governing. And in this particular case, we're talking about Catalonia, and it's autonomous from the rest of Spain. That does not mean it's independent. It's still part of Spain, but at least they can take care of their own affairs without having to wait for Madrid to tell them what to do. And its history also differs from that of other cities outside of Catalonia in unexpected ways. So it does have different aspects of its history. It's different from other cities in Spain. It differs from those other cities. And those other cities, of course, are outside of Catalonia. So that would include, Sevilla and Granada and Madrid. Those are all cities outside of Catalonia, inside of Spain.
Yes, and the ways in which Barcelona and Catalonia differ from other parts of Spain are unexpected. So in the next part, we'll find out how Barcelona is different from other parts of Spain.
Let's do that right now. Let's listen to the second part of our lesson, and then we'll come back to talk about it.
If you want to see the beginnings of Barcelona's history up close, head to the Old City and visit Barcelona Cathedral, which was built on the ruins of a 4th century church. In it, you can see the influences of the groups occupying the city, starting from the 13th century onward. And right next door, you'll find an even older structure, a fully intact portion of the original Roman wall that once surrounded Barcelona.
第二部分，我们看到单字 ruin， 它是名词，指的是废墟、遗迹、断垣残壁。例如 Visitors went to view the ancient ruins of Egypt. 游客前往参观埃及古代的遗迹。或是 The city's ruins reminded people of the horrors of war. 这座城市的废墟提醒人们战争的恐怖。另外，这个字也可以当作动词使用，意思是毁坏、破坏。举例来说 Leslie ended up ruining the cake by mistaking salt for sugar. Leslie 把盐错当成糖，而最终把蛋糕给毁了。再举一个例子 The bad weather ruined my weekend camping plan. 坏天气搞砸了我的周末露营计划。接下来我们看到动词 occupy 指的是占领、占据、占时间或空间。举例来说 The army occupies large parts of the region. 该军队占领这个地区大范围的地方。或是 Lucy's dresses occupy most of the room in her closet. Lucy 的洋装占据了她衣橱内大部分的空间。最后补充这个字的形容词 occupied, O-C-C-U-P-I-E-D, occupied, 它有被占据的或忙于点点点的意思。举例来说 All the restrooms on this train were occupied. 这辆火车上的所有洗手间都已经有人了。最后一个例子 Everyone in the office was fully occupied with work. 办公室里的每个人都忙于工作。
If you want to see the beginnings of Barcelona's history up close, head to the Old City and visit Barcelona Cathedral, which was built on the ruins of a 4th century church. So here we're advising visitors to go first to Barcelona Cathedral if they want to see Barcelona's history up close. When you look at something up close, you're looking at it from a short distance. So you're looking at it very clearly, at all the details. And the first place to visit when you're in Barcelona is the Barcelona Cathedral. Now, a cathedral is a church, but it's also considered the most important church in an area. For instance, in Rome, which has thousands of churches, there's only one St. Peter's Cathedral because that's considered the most important church in Rome.
Right, so a cathedral is just a big Catholic church, and of course it's going to be very ornate, and it will probably have stained glass windows. It will be, of course, something you'd like to visit and take a lot of pictures of. And this particular cathedral was built on the ruins of a 4th century church. Okay, so that's kind of interesting here. We're talking about the location of Barcelona Cathedral, and it was built on the site of a church that stood before it. It's built on the ruins of that church from the 4th century or from the 300s. Now, ruins, of course, refers to the leftover remnants of an old building, especially if it is historic in nature. And I don't really think there's a lot of ruins here in Taiwan, but if you go to other parts of the world, you'll see ruins in various places. Like there are ruins of the Great Wall in certain parts of China where the wall has kind of fallen apart. Usually ruins does imply that something has fallen apart. It's still there, but it's not in its original form.
Yes, and in these ancient cities, such as Barcelona and Rome, as mentioned before, a lot of things are built on top of ruins. So the ruins aren't taken away, they're just built on top of, and in that way, many of these ancient cities have actually multiple layers. So a lower layer could represent the architecture of an ancient civilization. So here we have the Barcelona Cathedral, which was built on the ruins of a 4th century church. In this cathedral, you can see the influences of the groups occupying the city starting from the 13th century onward. So we find out that Barcelona had been occupied not just once, but by many groups of people at different times. Now here, to occupy means to be in control of a place using military force. So if soldiers come in and they attack a village, for instance, and they kill a lot of people, in the end, they may occupy that village, which means they have control of that village. Here in Barcelona, in the past, many groups, probably foreigners, came in and occupied the city. And when they occupied the city, took control of it, they also left a lot of influences, cultural influences, perhaps the way they did things, language, and also artifacts like the things that they use can still be found.
Right. So if you go in that church, you can see some indications of the groups that occupied the city starting a long time ago. In fact, the occupation of the city began from the 13th century onward. Onward just means starting from a period and going on into the future. So beginning in the 13th century, you can see the various influences of those different groups in this church. And right next door, right next to the church or the cathedral, you'll find an even older structure, a fully intact portion of the original Roman wall that once surrounded Barcelona. Interesting. Okay, so if something's intact, it is still built. It is still standing. It has not been torn down. It's a portion of the original wall that once surrounded Barcelona. They tore most of it down, but this part here is still standing, and that would be quite interesting to check out.
Yes, so intact can also be used to describe a house. For instance, I could say that my house remained intact despite the severe earthquake that destroyed all of the other houses surrounding mine. And in this instance, a portion of a Roman wall still remains intact that's right next to the cathedral.
Exactly. We could say that the North Gate is still intact here in Taipei. And in this particular case, we're talking about the Roman wall that once surrounded Barcelona. Just a small section of it is fully intact. It's still there. And you can imagine all those guys roaming around Barcelona wearing those togas and those sandals. Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now to the third and final part.
A short walk to the west will bring you to La Rambla, one of Barcelona's most famous landmarks. This long walking street has it all, from museums and theaters to busy markets and squares full of street performers.
So in the last part, we were visiting Barcelona Cathedral and admiring all of the things that are inside the cathedral. Now, a short walk to the west of the cathedral will bring you to La Rambla, one of Barcelona's most famous landmarks. So a landmark is a place that is famous, that is used to mark a particular area of a city or a particular time in history, and La Rambla is indeed one of the most popular areas of Barcelona.
Just like the Eiffel Tower is a landmark in Paris, or the Statue of Liberty is a landmark in New York, this, of course, is a famous landmark in Barcelona. And this long walking street has it all, from museums and theaters to busy markets and squares full of street performers. So yes, it's a street where you can go walking, and there is a lot there. We're saying it has it all. It has all sorts of things that you might enjoy. And we've got a range of things here. When we talk about a range of different things, we do use the pattern from to. So we've got from museums and theaters to busy markets and squares full of street performers. So we've got museums there that you can go check out. If you're into museums, you can go inside and look at art or sculptures or things like that, or artifacts. And also you could see probably some performances in theaters, probably both movie theaters and live action theaters. You can see dramas and plays and stuff like that. And we've also got busy markets where people are selling all sorts of things. You might be able to pick up some souvenirs there. And there'll be squares or little plazas that are full of people performing in the street, musicians, jugglers, you name it.
Yes, and La Rambla also has a lot of restaurants and cafes that you can go to try some typical Catalonian food. And often if you're walking down that street, you'll find that it's crowded and there are a lot of street performers. It's just very bustling and you'll feel like you're in the center of the world.
Pretty cool indeed. And of course, Barcelona is a very popular tourist destination, so you don't need to know Catalan or Spanish to go there. You could probably get by with English pretty well. Okay, that brings us to the end of our discussion for today. Let's turn things over now to Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一部分有一句提到，许多当地人不认为巴塞隆纳是西班牙的一部分。那么文中用到动词 consider 来表达认为，把什么什么视为。我们以下来介绍它的主动和被动用法。好，首先来看主动用法是 consider 某人或某事物，to be 再加名词或形容词，这是表达说认为某人或某事物怎么样怎么样，将某人或某事物视为什么什么。那么课文里面呢，他提到说 Don't consider Barcelona to be a part of Spain at all， 其中这个 consider Barcelona to be a part of Spain 表示说认为巴塞隆纳是西班牙的一部分。好，那我们也来造个例句。Ross considers himself to be funny， 或是 Ross considers himself funny。 Ross 觉得自己很搞笑。好，那再来我们看到第二个是要介绍被动用法。那这时候我们会用人或事物当主词，加上被动用法是 be considered， 之后可以接 to be 再加名词或形容词，表示说某人或某事物被认为是怎么样，被视为怎么样。其中的 to be 也可以省略。举例来说， The actor is considered to be a fashion icon， 或是 The actor is considered a fashion icon， 那位演员被视为时尚指标。好，那补充一下，我们其实还可以用到 think of， 或是 see， 或是 view， 或是 regard 来表达认为视为。那么它们的主动用法就是Think of somebody or something as 加上名词或形容词，那么 think of 还可以换成刚刚说的 see, view 或是 regard。 那么被动用法是某人或某事物 be viewed as, be seen as, be regarded as, be thought of as 再加名词或形容词。举例来说， She viewed the job as the opportunity of a lifetime。 她认为这个工作是千载难逢的好机会。好，那我们接着来看到课文第二部分最后一句，有一个单字是 intact。 那我们来学它的字根，看到 tact 或是 tang 或是 tag 这一类字根有 touch 或是 handle 的意思，表示触摸、接触、操作或是管理。那么在 intact 这个字当中，它的字首 in 表示否定，那么 tact 表示触摸、触碰。那没有被触碰过，就可以把它联想到是它完好无缺的、未受损的。那么 intact 就是用来形容完整无缺、完好如初的，或是未受损伤的。我们也补充几个有这一类字根的单字。第一个是 tactile， T-A-C-T-I-L-E， 或是念作 tactile。 那它的字根 T-A-C-T 表示触碰，那么 I-L-E 是形容词字尾，合在一起tactile 是形容触觉的。第二个补充的是 tangible， 它的字根 T-A-N-G 表示触摸， I-B-L-E 表示可怎么样怎么样的。那么可触摸的、可以摸得到的，应该就很容易联想到 tangible， 它表示可触摸的、有形的或是真实的。好，第三个补充的是 contagious， 它的字首 C-O-N 表示一起， 字根 tag 表示接触， ous 是形容词字尾，那一起接触就会容易增加感染的机会嘛，把疾病就散播出去了。那么 contagious 就可以形容疾病是具接触传染性的，也可以形容是具有感染力的。好，以上是今天的重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Harmony. The people of the village lived in harmony, respecting and accepting each other's differences. Resident. The residents of the apartment building like to have barbecues in the summer. Thriving. This is a thriving city that offers many opportunities for growth and success. Cathedral. Tourists come from all over to admire the cathedral's beautiful windows and giant pipe organ. Ruin. Deep in the dark jungle, the lost traveler came upon the ruins of an ancient temple. Occupy. A large bed occupies most of the space in the tiny bedroom. Intact. Despite the powerful earthquake, the walls and roof of the old house remained fully intact.
Well, everyone, today's article has come to an end, and I sure hope you enjoy reading along with us. I am Helen.
I am Roger.
See you next time.